Hey, how's it going? Kevin from Skyway Computer Works here, and today I'm tearing down a GTX 690 Founders Edition. I personally love this card. I think it's quite beautiful. I don't know why. It appeals to me greatly. I like the fan in the middle. It's quite cool. But this is what I like to think one of the more complicated cards to take apart, and I think it'd be fun to do. So, to get started, let me introduce you to the tools we have here today. So one, we have basically it's a phone screw set, but you can use it for pretty much anything. We are going to be using a T6 torque screw out of this, as well as a M5 hex nut. This is great for the DVI screws that are on the back of the graphics card right here. I found that to be quite useful. Better than the ones that they include in like motherboards or cases. I'm not sure which one. I believe it's in motherboard boxes for the standoffs on the case. Though I guess that wouldn't make much sense with it. As well as we will be using a 1.5 sized, I don't know if they're inch, so I just say sized, Allen key, and a 2-sized Allen key. And the normal tiny screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver, and a large regular Phillips head screwdriver, which you may be looking at this like, what the heck, why does he need a large one? That doesn't make any sense. You will see. Alright, and a little disclaimer here, this graphics card itself is dead. I got this for really cheap a long time ago, and basically was going to attempt to fix it, and never was able to. Because the person who had it before me must have chucked it against a wall, because there's a bunch of capacitors here that were ripped off. I could fix those, but the main thing is one of the transistors that was ripped off, its solder pad ripped off with it, so I could not fix something like that. At least to my knowledge. Maybe an expert can, but I can't currently. So I just keep this graphics card around as sort of a memory of like, oh, well, I could have had a working GTX 690. I'd love to have one someday. Alright, so to begin though, I flipped it over and, well, oh yeah, that's why I put the disclaimer there. The reason why I say it's dead is because you'll notice there will be no thermal paste and maybe some thermal pads missing on there. That would be why, because it's dead. So if yours is missing thermal paste or thermal pads, I would be quite concerned. I would hope it would have thermal paste and thermal pads. Anyways, let's get started here. So we're going to start by taking off these 4 spring-loaded screws on each side of the card. These are quite important that you need to open them in sequence with each other. So loosening one a bit, then going across from that one and loosening that one a bit. Like that. Here, let me bring it up. So you want to go from like there to there, there to there. And this is so you don't crack the GPU die itself. If you crack the GPU die, this will generally mean your graphics card is dead. You will no longer have a working graphics card, which I don't think anybody wants a dead graphics card. I have a couple. Some I received for free, some of them I bought on a whim of like, oh, I could fix this. But yeah, those are the ones that didn't turn out well. I've fixed a couple graphics cards in my time though. Just a couple. I'm not even obeying my own instructions right now. I don't know why I go loosening them with my hands. I guess my hands are just faster to me for some reason, even though the screwdriver is most definitely faster. Right, now that you've done all that, we're going to take our Torque 6 screwdriver here, and we're going to take off all these screws. One here, one here, one here, one here. You get the idea. I don't know why NVIDIA decided to be like, oh, let's use Torque 6 screws on our graphics card back. That makes no sense to me, just use a regular Phillips head, but I don't design graphics cards, so I don't know the design process behind doing so. There could be a significant reason why it's Torque 6 screws. They could also just be pulling an Apple, where Apple likes to use an entirely, like, ridiculous different amount of screws in their laptops. Who knows? Who knows? Now, for this project, the last one, I had said, you don't really need a place to sort all your screws, purely because there was not very many of the same, or of different types. This I would definitely recommend. A magnetic whiteboard, a bunch of bins, or like cups, or just anything to sort these screws. I am not following my own advice, and I'm sure that will be my downfall someday, because I won't remember how to put a graphics card back together, but I'm going to eventually probably just wing it. And it'll work out. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I would definitely recommend it, because there's a lot of different screws in this card. It's quite something. Alright, I believe I got all of them. I did. Okay. Next, you can take off this screw right here. And there's reasoning behind this. I can't find a screw bit that will fit this, but this one screwdriver will. Just a dull, like regular Phillips head will. So, that is the reasoning behind that, and we will never have to use that again. So before we continue on, you want to go to the side, and we need to take out these two screws with our normal, like, small one. This will allow us to get the PCB off the cooler. And like I said, I aesthetically love this graphics card. I really wish it had ended up being a fixable card, because quite beautiful. Now my card will probably just fall apart. Yours should not. Yours will take maybe a little bit of prying and like wiggling. Just be very careful. But as a fair warning, right here are your fan and RGB connectors, because this plate lights up here. This logo lettering. This lettering lights up here. That's the word. So right here, you can even see the pins for them right here. Those are your connectors, so be aware of that when you're taking this PCB off. They don't have a ton of slack to them, so it is possible to just rip them off. Also, be more gentle taking off your PCB than I am. It's purely because the card is dead that I don't really care too much. I still care a bit because it could be fixable someday. But my connectors are already taken off. I never bothered to connect them back because it doesn't work. So now we've got our bare PCB, but before we move on to taking apart the cooler, we're going to take our M5 hex nut bit, and we're going to take off this I/O plate. I know it probably seems useless to take off the I/O plate, but hey, it wouldn't be a teardown if you didn't take the entire card apart. Unfortunately, there will be a point where I can't take this card apart any further, because the lovely person who owned it before me, as we know them, whoever it was that chucked this card across the freaking room, they also stripped a screw that is essential for taking apart the cooler. But I will show you the basis of how it's put together and a couple other things, and it should be just completely straightforward from there. I shouldn't have to instruct anybody else any further on this. So, there's your I/O plate. That's taken apart. And now you are done with the PCB. There's nothing else to take apart, nothing to tear down from it. You are good. We'll put this back here. That's what we'll do with that. And just scrolling down my script here, because yes, I have a script. It's probably pointless. Alright, now we're going to take our two-sized Allen key, and we're going to start on the side screws here. Mainly these four. Right. So we're going to take those off. These are connected to these little fins right here. And the important thing about this that you should know is that on the other side of these there is adhesive. So when you take this apart, you need to be very careful. You want to take both the screws out, then try taking the metal things apart. Otherwise you'll bend it. And if you bend it, your card won't look as good, and everybody will laugh at you. And that's just how it is. Everybody will laugh at your messed up, GTX 690 founders that you probably don't have because you probably got an RTX card or a Radeon 5700 XT or 5700. Anyway, so this, like I said, there's an adhesive right here. I gotta keep holding this up. Right here, so be aware of that. It's on both fins too. So this one will have it as well. So we're just gonna set that aside. Take the two-sized Allen key and take these two out. Someday I'll get that screw out. I'm probably just gonna, off camera, end up like taking some JB Weld a Allen key in there and just taking that screw out, and then I'll just get a new one. A new one with the same thread or whatever. See, there's a little adhesive still on that one. So now that we've done that, we're gonna move all those screws to the side. And then the thing I would recommend we do next is we take off all these screws. There's two right here. There's one on each side here. This is the one I cannot take off because it's stripped. I will give it another shot, but hey, whatever. And then there's one right there. So we're gonna start by taking all of those off, and there's a method to my madness you will see in a bit. Can't get this thing to stay in. Nobody make a joke out of that. I will find you. Just saying. Come on, you little... Oh, it is hot here in Florida. Even with the holiday season done, it's getting warm again. And as I will reiterate, I would highly recommend you separate all of these screws in bins. Because the ones on the side we just removed, they are two different types of screws. You don't think I'm joking. Like, one of them has a different thread than the other. So, I don't know why. I don't know why everything can't be the same. Just trying to give this one another shot. Nope. That's gonna be a, hey, we're gluing something in there and taking it out that way situation. If you do have a situation where one of these screws are stripped, like I said, what I would do is I would stick one of these in here and I would do some JB Weld, like some sort of adhesive, something to give it a grip, and then I would just turn it out, and you would just have to leave that screw out or find a new one. You can probably find them on eBay. I don't know. Not my problem at the moment. Alright, so now that we've done that, the method to my madness is when you take off the front screws here, this plastic bit will start to shift around and shake, and it'll be super annoying when you're trying to take the card apart. It's just how that is. And the whole reasoning behind doing the side ones first is that when you do this, this will all come apart right away, instead of just having this stuck to the side and this rattling around and scratching and looking horrible. But anyways, so now we're going to move on to these 6 screws here. All these. And you're going to take your nut, your Torx 6 screw, which I was going to grab, and you're going to take your 1.5 Allen key and your 2 sized Allen key, and you're going to do the ones on the silver plate first. And we're getting to the point where I can no longer continue because, yes, that lovely strip screw, because whoever owned the card before me was very smart, very intelligent person. Top of their class. 10 out of 10 IGN. Give me my screw. Alright, and finally, now we're going to take the 1.5 and take off the ones on the black part where the fan is located. The black, would you call that a shroud? I don't think you would call that a shroud. And as I said, separate these from the screws. These are entirely different thread, I believe. Alright, and now how these come apart is, I believe this is normally supposed to lift off, or it's either stuck in place. No. Yeah, it's supposed to lift off, and this is supposed to come out. Wait, I did the wrong one. I did the wrong side. I'm smart. I'm quite smart, I promise you. I try to look smart. We still recording? Yes, we are. I did this recording once before, and then my camera, no problems with that heat sensor. Camera turned off mid-recording. I think it was just an auto power off function that I had to disable. Oh, in typical camera fashion, the camera turned off again. Excellent. So, this is going to be a jump cut. Awesome. I don't know how much of was cut off. I don't believe much. I believe we stopped here when we got all the screws out of the cooler, and I was about to show how to take apart the heatsink. So basically you lift this thing up, put it down, you take the plastic part out, you lift that up. Now normally, what you're supposed to do, oh geez, now I got it stuck. There we go. You're supposed to take out these 4 screws on either side, and then this entire like black shroud should lift up. And then there's screws in the fan that you can take off right here, right here, here, and I believe right here. You can probably see them. No, right there. Right there, there, and there. So, that's how you would get the fan out and this out and basically finish taking apart the card. But then these just normally lift up. These are rough to lift up for me. And that's it. That's all you have to do to take apart a GTX 690. It's quite a mess here, so I'm going to have to clean all that up. I'm now going to have to edit this jump cut in, which is super annoying, but hey. Crap happens. I want to thank you for sticking around and watching me take apart this card. I hope it helps somebody in the world not screw up their graphics card, or just helps them learn more about computers in general. Just want it to be helpful. Appreciate you taking your time. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you for next teardown or something different. I do want to do something different instead of a teardown next time. But I'm just trying to get into the swing of things currently. So, thank you very much. See you next time.